Ladies and gentlemen, the state of Idaho is doing something that I think most states should do. The state of Idaho is implementing a law. It's passed the House. It's going to the state Senate, where pedophiles can be treated with the death penalty. Anything aggravated to a child under 12 or under is under this Bill 515 in the Idaho House. Would be punishable by death. I think that this is something that people should pay a lot of attention to, and that other states should probably follow. And I know that anyone who states this opinion gets a lot of backlash, like, people can change and all of this sort of thing. Let me tell you something. At the point where you've committed an aggravated sexual act on a child, you've changed their life forever. I'm not going to say you've ruined their life forever, because it is possible to move past it, but you certainly have changed it, and changed it for the worse. And I'm speaking from experience. If you go back on my channel, I have a video about this. I don't even remember what it's called. It was a couple of years ago that I made it. Something like recovering masculinity after being abused, or something like that. At any rate, I was sexually abused for almost a decade, for 9 years, from ages 4 till about 13, till I got big enough to defend myself, by 4 different people. Incidentally, all of them were my brothers. They were all abused by a Catholic priest at the church where they were altar boys. So the abuse really does go down from person to person. So, for example, my brothers were abused. Well, they brought it down to me and to my sister. And I can tell you that the effects of that linger. At this point, I've, forgiven myself, forgiven them, but I want nothing to do with them. I don't spend any time with them. I don't associate with them in any way whatsoever. But I can tell you that when I was right out of high school, I was very affected by this, because my masculinity felt threatened. When another man is able to, or another male, I should say, because they were teenagers, is able to assert his dominance over you, it really does something to you as a man, to make you question your masculinity. And in those years, 17, 18, 19, when I joined the military and actually ended up getting a medical discharge after a suicide attempt, it took me a long time to properly adjust and to form relationships with other people in a meaningful way, particularly with women, not really understanding sexuality in the way that it is meant to be understood, and having a difficult time, because building a sexual bond almost feels equivalent to friendship when it's introduced to you as a child. Sex is just something that people that like each other do. Like, not even people that love each other, people that have a special connection, just people that like each other, like friends. And so with that conception of it as a kid, then it makes it really hard to understand how exclusionary choosing sexual partners should be, and also what damage you can do to yourself if you're not if you're too open and too out and about with it, if that makes sense. So it does affect you. And even today, the times come where there's anxiety, there's depression, there's, it takes a lot of hard work to keep up, a good, solid, romantic relationship for a lot of people who've been sexually abused, because there's a key component of that feels a little traumatic. It was actually 10 plus years before, the idea of sex wasn't something that was terrifying. And so when you consider those effects, is particularly to me, the suicidal ideations and the suicide attempts that come from being sexually abused as a kid, it's no longer an unconscionable thing to me to ask for the death penalty in those situations. Those people have marred and damaged the lives of their victims to an extent where in some cases it's almost worse than murder. The mental anguish that you go to, wishing you were dead, trying to make it happen, and wrestling with being a complete person for years and years and years. I'm glad that I never succeeded when I did attempt suicide, but at the time it felt like the right thing to do. So anyway, state of Idaho, good on you. I hope that this goes through the Senate. I'm watching it carefully. And I think that anybody who is of the opinion that a sexual molester can change, and, possibly be forgiven for what they've done, or, become a good person afterward. I think that there has to be something so seriously wrong with you in order to do that to a child, especially now that we all know how damaging that is to a child. You've committed a crime that is, in my estimation, not really forgivable. So, although I did say, like I said, I chose to forgive the people that did that to me, but that was because it was for me to move on with my life and stop thinking about it. So, but anyway, serious enough talk for 7:30 in the morning. Hopefully that you guys follow along with this as well and think about what I said. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you next time. Bye.